Well, this is the third year for elk hunting in Arkansas, and this happens to be the third elk camp I've had an opportunity to participate in. This one's sort of a step back in time. I'm at Danny Kaywood's camp, and as you know, he hunts with a flintlock, makes flintlocks, and we just wanted to come down and participate in his camp. Now, I will tell you this, when you try to take a step back in time and you try to find recipes and things that people cooked back in the early 1800s or before, what you're going to find is that it just usually didn't taste real good. It's usually, they ate to live. They didn't really go to sit down and eat to have a wonderful gourmet meal like we did. So it was kind of hard coming up with a recipe that kind of fit both needs, that was something that we could cook on camp, that sort of use the ingredients they might use back then, but yet be palatable enough that everybody around the camp could enjoy it. So what we've come up with something I'm calling Venison Ragout. What I've done is I browned about a ½ pound of bacon in this Dutch oven, just really to render the fat, and then I took about 3 pounds of venison that I'd cubed up and then floured and salt and peppered that and browned that. Now I've put it all back in here. I'm ready to add, a couple of really big onions that you've chopped up and a whole bulb of garlic. Now I know what you're saying. Oh me, I promise you that all that garlic is not going to be too much. You will like it. You just can't have too much garlic. And you know, when you're out here in the wilds camping, you need all that extra protection of some healthful garlic that you can get. So now that we've got this, the onions and the garlic in there, we're going to stir that around, sort of cook that until it gets to bubbling. And then we're going to add, about 2 cups of Burgundy wine. That's probably about 2 cups. We're going to put our bacon back in there that we browned earlier. We're going to put a can of beef stock. Now I know you're thinking, well, yeah, theirs is using that modern day can. Actually, they started canning things in tin cans around in the United States around 1837. So we're okay with that. We're going to stir that up, put a little bit of pepper, maybe a lot of pepper. We're going to put a little bit of salt. Not a lot of salt because you've already salted your flour, and then you also have the bacon that's got the salt in it. And then I'm going to put about 3 or 4 whole cloves, and that just really sweetens that meat up. We're going to put that in there, stir that around. I'm going to put the lid on this, and then we're going to simmer this, maybe put a few coals on the top for about an hour, then we'll come back and add the veggies. Oh man, this is sizzling and looking good. Stir it up, and now we're going to add about 2 pounds of new potatoes that we've quartered, and about 1 pound of carrots that we've peeled and cut up. Stir those in. And then we're going to add just a little bit of thyme. Put the lid back on, cook that about 45 minutes, and I'll see if I can't find some mountain man that wants to taste this. Well, the venison ragout's done. The beans we hope are done. This is my friend Joe Reeves. He's a coppersmith. He makes all this really neat copper stuff that's period correct that you can use in rendezvous when you're doing reenactments, or by golly, it looks mighty fine in your house too. So thanks for agreeing to be the taste tester. John's really going to be envious.
I'm glad to be here, fellas.
Good. I tell you what, I'm going to dip up some of the venison for you if you'll dig up the whole of, and then see if our beans took. Okay? Just go right ahead and do that. This is going to be real interesting, cooking these beans in a hole. What we did was we dug a hole much bigger than the pot that we cooked the beans in, and then we lined it with rocks, built a fire in it, and let the fire cook for Oh, about an hour or so, and then set the pot down in there, put more coals on the top of it, and then you're supposed to cover it up and let it cook for about 8 hours. So we're gonna see what we got. Hopefully we got victuals fit for a king, Joe. Don't you think so? And John will really be envious, Joe, because I'm gonna dip this up and it'll be cooling off. Unlike what he has to eat it when it's real hot. You need a rag to lift that up, you think?
Yes.
Okay. Just dust that off all around the edge, and we'll lift the lid off and see what we got. Well, they look done. I just wonder if they'll eat. Isn't this a neat way? Just think old mountain men used to do this, and they'd put a big old roast in there and just put it in the morning. Now this pan's hot, so be careful.
Okay.
Venison Ragout. We browned some bacon to render the fat, then we browned our venison. We put it in there with some wine, some onions and garlic. Let it cook for about an hour. Came back and put the veggies in it with a little spices, salt and pepper. Let that cook another hour, and then you got venison ragout. Sort of period correct, but not exactly, but maybe it'll eat. As far as the beans, dug the big hole, fixed the beans up, put some fat back in them, onions, garlic, let them cook for 8 hours, and what do you think?
Delicious.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Just say, John, eat your heart out.
John, eat your heart out.
Venison ragout and bean whole beans.